Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Bino. Today, I'm going to be talking about self-destruction and the three main characteristics that I find kind of go hand in hand with it, at least in my life. Obviously, to me, self-destruction doesn't look like chaos. I think it's more of just, looks like a normal life routine, but destructive undercurrents. I feel like everybody struggles with this. I feel like everybody goes through this. But yeah, those three characteristics being control, when you're scared of losing something or looking weak, disconnect, when you're feeling everything is too much to bear, and self-sabotage, when you keep choosing relief over results. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm above any of these. I think I actively struggle with all three of these in my life currently. A little bit of background though. Control isn't always about being bossy or dominating. Sometimes it's simply being terrified of looking human, using control to avoid showing vulnerability or pain. I believe Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty illustrates this very good, and I'm gonna be using two episodes, my bad. To start, I'm gonna be using episode 3 from season 3, Pickle Rick. I feel like this episode does a really good job of showcasing Rick avoiding vulnerability. To start the episode, Rick literally transforms himself into a pickle to avoid a family therapy session. I feel like it's the perfect portrayal of a mindset of I'll do anything except sit still and be honest. Rick would rather become a rat gut powered pickle based murder monster than go to therapy. This is absurd. It is played out for laughs, but it highlights how far fear of vulnerability can drive someone. Rick uses his intelligence and chaos as armor so he never has to confront his feelings or flaws. Then, in the season before that, and I probably should have went in chronological order, but my bad, y'all. In the season before that, so season 2, episode 3, autoerotic assimilation, Rick rekindles a wild romance with a hive mind entity named Unity. At first, it's all power and fun, but the second Rick feels rejected by Unity, his control facade cracks. Unity leaves him a note about how they're both just filling an endless void, and her deep departure sends Rick into a dangerous spiral of loneliness and self-destruction. He can handle intergalactic chaos and sci-fi insanity, but vulnerability is another story. The episode ends with Rick nearly attempting suicide in his garage, saved only by passing out drunk at the last moment. It's one of those times you see Rick truly vulnerable, revealing that all his control and bravado were masking profound pain. And I feel like this really shows like a real life parallel, but we're gonna get into that. Control-driven self-destruction often masquerades as productivity or stoicism, but it's really about avoidance. You might recognize this pattern in everyday habits that hide your vulnerability. These are some examples ChatGPT kind of gave up, but I'm gonna try to relate them to real life. Avoidance through busyness. You know there's something you need to face, a hard conversation, an apology, a look in the mirror, but you do literally anything else. Maybe you suddenly decide to deep clean your room at 2 a.m. or throw yourself into busy work. Not out of necessity, but because being still would make you feel exposed. I feel like that can be true. That's like procrastination. I feel like it's a big example of that. Constant distraction. Sounds feels too loud, so you feel every moment. You scroll endlessly, binge video games, chain smoke, overeat, or indulge any habit to avoid sitting with your feelings. There's always another video, another snack, another task, anything to escape that uncomfortable self-reflection. That's very true as well. That is very true. 2 for 2 so far. Emotional armor. You joke around and act extra chill about everything because being serious means admitting you care and could get hurt. If rejection or failure happens, you pretend it didn't bother you. You might detach or act like you don't care so no one sees it got to you. It looks like confidence, but you're really wearing a mask. You know what I mean? I feel like they get hit on that too. Need for control. At the root, you're afraid of anything that makes you feel not in control. Whether it's therapy, honest conversations, or relying on others. Like Rick, you use distractions, intellect, or even cynicism as armor so you never have to feel vulnerable. Rick's story shows how control can look like strength on the outside while quietly destroying you on the inside. When it cracks, and they eventually do, the fall can be devastating. Bro. Which kind of leads me to my next one. Control kind of leads into disconnect, which we're going to start with that. Disconnecting or splitting is when your mind decides, I can't feel this. I can't feel this and survive. Instead of fighting or expressing pain, you shut down emotionally as a last-ditch coping mechanism. Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul Season 1 is a vivid example of this pattern taken to an extreme. So we're going to be using the episodes 11 and 12 of Season 1 to represent trauma and dissociation. Kaneki starts out as a gentle, quiet college student, but when he's captured by a sadistic ghoul, Yamari, aka Jason, he's subjected to brutal torture. In episode 11, High Spirits, you can practically feel Kaneki mentally trying to escape his own body during the torture sessions. It's beyond simple sadness or fear. It's like his psyche is saying, I have to become someone else to get through this. He retreats into hallucinations with his alter ego, manifestations of Rees, as his sanity phrase. By episode 12, Ghoul, Kaneki reaches a breaking point. The kind, sensitive Kaneki can't survive what's happening, so he dissociates and lets a harsher persona take over. His hair turns white, symbolizing this psychological snap, and he transforms from a victim, at least temporary, to a ruthless survivor. This isn't portrayed as a cool power-up, it's a traumatic split, born from pain. Kaneki's mind essentially shut the door on his human feelings so he wouldn't collapse. A grim illustration of disconnecting to survive unbearable trauma. This shows up in real life, y'all. Sexual assault victims, abuse victims. Y'all, bro, this shit goes deep, bro. Y'all know, bro, there's always signs of this shit in real life. But we're gonna go ahead and relate that now. Most of us thankfully won't face something as extreme as Kaneki's torture. But emotionally overwhelmed can still cause shutdown response in everyday life. Here's what that can look like. Emotional numbness. Life doesn't make you loud or angry. It makes you quiet. You stop talking about what's bothering you because you're beyond upset. You're exhausted. Explaining feels useless, so you don't bother. You might still go to work, reply with one-word answers, go through the motions, but you're not really there. And you have autopilot mode. Your routine becomes your hiding place. You wake up, handle your tasks, socialize superficially, and nobody can tell anything's wrong, but you feel like a zombie. You're doing just enough to get by, and you're doing it mechanically. Inside you feel hollow, but you figure if you keep moving, maybe it will hurt less. Isolation in plain sight. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. It's like there's a glass wall between you and the world. You don't cry or rage. You just feel far away. Friends might notice you checked out, or they might not, because you're still physically present and functioning. This is why it's dangerous. People often don't notice you're drowning when you're still showing up and smiling politely. This is very true. Losing interest and ghosting. The things you used to care about don't spark anything now. Hobbies fall away. You start ghosting friends or withdrawing socially because being present, really present, takes energy you just don't have. You zone out during conversations and you realize you don't recall anything that was said. It's as if you're watching your life from a distance and not truly living it. Kaneki's story is an extreme mirror of this truth. Disconnecting can save you short term, but it costs you dearly in the long term. It's a self-destructive pattern where you protect yourself by feeling nothing, but in the process you lose the parts of who you are. Eventually the emotions you locked away may come back and haunt you. Or you wake up one day and you don't recognize the person you've become. Which leads me into my next pattern, self-sabotage. When I say self-destruction, you might picture some dramatic rock bottom scene. But often it's quieter, the kind where you still go to work, still text people back, still laugh at memes, but every day you're doing one little thing you know is bad for you. This pattern is called self-sabotage, and the artist Lucki captures it powerfully in his music. His songs sound laid back and hazy, not like dire warnings. It's like he's calmly narrating the destructive loop while he's still inside. Y'all know this is true. He's done it his whole career and he's constantly got success off of it, talking about his experiences. We're going to dive into that. So we're going to be using Watch My Back, dropped in 2017, Freeway 3 dropped in 2019, I think, and Gemini dropped in 2024 as like a case study of living in the loop of self-sabotage. So on Watch My Back, Lucki features this track called Oh Me, where he raps, caught up in the days, just another phase. I don't know me sober, you don't know me, period. It's delivered in a signature dissociative murmur voice. It's a chilling because he makes the self-destruction sound like just another day. No panic, no climax, just existence inside the haze. And then on the follow-up line, it becomes so ingrained that you don't even know who he is. He doesn't even know who he is without the drugs. His whole identity is around the habit and how it's kind of consumed his life. And he's not glorifying, he's just kind of describing it. In those 2 bars, that's what you get. And then, ignoring the consequences of that. In Free Wave 3, in Peach Dream, Lucki literally says, got my mama going and Lean keeps sending me kidney stuff. One of his most infamous lines. That line hits hard because it shows the ripple effect. His loved ones are so worried about his drug habit that they're researching his dangers. He follows that with, all this money on Lean should have been a VVS. Here he literally calculates the cost. Noting that all the cash that he's blown on drugs could have bought him luxury VVS diamonds instead. Yet even that realization doesn't break the cycle. Another example on the single More Than Ever on Free Wave 3, he says, I know she ain't loyal, but she made me better. Is a perfect snapshot of toxic comfort. Knowingly clinging to something or someone harmful because it numbs the pain of right now. Lucki's verses are often littered with such contradictions, acknowledging the damage even as he continues the behaviors. And then on Gemini 2024, the most recent, Lucki had more success and exposure, but the pattern stayed. On the song On Their Way, he raps, running from trouble and bringing it with me. You can change your environment, new city, new money, new friends, but you still carry your unresolved issues on your back. As he puts it, only thing assisting is the drugs. In other words, even at a higher point in life externally, he's still using this same crutch to cope. The self-sabotage didn't disappear with success, it just got more resources. Same loop, different outfit. This pattern is often the easiest to notice and the hardest to stop. It's when you're caught in a cycle and you know it's hurting you, but immediate relief or comfort it provides wins out over the long time well-being. With this can be in habits or health. You repeatedly do something you know is bad for you. It might be the substance, unhealthy food, procrastination, toxic relationships, or endless scrolling at 3 a.m. You catch yourself thinking, I really gotta stop whatever it is on a regular basis. You're fully aware it messes up your sleep, your finances, your mood, your goals, and you do it again and again over the next few days or weeks. It's like part of you had decided a little relief now is worth more than a big reward later. No urgency to change. There's a quiet, dangerous comfort in the routine. Maybe you don't feel dramatically awful. It's more of a dull ache of mediocrity or stagnation. Because it's not an acute crisis, it's easy to brush off. It's just one more night of this. Days blur into months with no progress, and you rationalize this because nothing's on fire. This is why Lucki laid-back tone resonates. The warning signs of self-sabotage are often soft and subtle. Identity tied to your vice, like Lucki saying he doesn't know himself sober. You might feel like you're only you when you're doing that destructive thing. Maybe your social life resolves around drinking, or you only feel relaxed when you're high, or you only feel valued in that toxic relationship. The thought of quitting whatever it is doesn't just scare you because you'll miss it. It scares you because you're not sure you'll be without it. And that's such a real bar. External success and internal stagnation. You might actually achieve external milestones, a new job, a finance goal, etc., but the old habit still follows. Self-sabotage can be a great shapeshifter. For instance, you get a better paying job and your destructive spending scales up with your new income. Or you move to a new city for a fresh start and fall into the same patterns with new people. On the surface, it looks like you're leveling it up, but the progress is skin deep because the core issue remains unresolved and unaddressed. In Lucki's case, in many real-life cases, self-sabotage isn't about wanting to destroy yourself. It's usually about chasing relief, not ruin. You're trying to feel okay or escape pain or just go through the day. It's almost a twisted form of self-care gone wrong. But over time, those little harmful choices compound and start eating away at your future and your self-worth. I'm not here to deliver like a how to fix, because the truth is breaking these patterns are hard and they often require help, time, and honesty. But yeah, like I said, hope y'all boys enjoyed. No, we not end up. Best Buy just the best popper in the game.
I'm getting right back to you. I'm getting floated anytime about. I can just see my influence. Yeah, outside we can just rock it out. You don't even know what you're doing. I don't even know this whole name.